Hey guys, I'm Leo, and welcome to Keys Team Task Season 2. These are the results for Task 4, and I'll quickly do an analysis of each of the rounds and share cool stats as well. For one, I was first surprised with the variation of times for these tasks, with the last place being over 60% slower than first place with a time of 48.8 seconds. And this was Team Luigi, which is happening now on screen. So Team Luigi's route was pretty interesting because it started at Peronza Plaza and never used anything coming after it, and only used the part that came before it in the any percent run. And only using the part from the Odyssey to the Peronza Plaza ended up limiting quite a lot of the objectives because a lot of the fast objectives were actually located in the passive Amine Plateau area. And this is probably why the time was quite slow. However, the run had some really nice movement in it, especially Agron's clip with the dram strat and the roll across the platforms. Marble in his clip also had an interesting fork dram, which actually made Mario run for a longer distance, but with much faster momentum, which was a pretty clever time save by him. And not the only thing, but if there was one thing that was pretty pog about this one, is that all the objectives were used, except for like one or two, were not used by any other team, because this is the only route that actually went before Peronza Plaza. Every other route used the area after it. And Pit of Despair's clip was submitted 15 hours late, which makes him get a minus 10 score for the leaderboard. Team Bowser got second place with a time of 35.5 seconds. Its route was decently clever, as starting from the top of the area at Mid Plateau would mean less time wasted by climbing, and being able to get the heart up top without having to climb to it, because you already started there. The main problem, however, is the moon beside the magnet passive area, which takes over 5 seconds to collect and to go back to land. This is reinforced by Swimmin sadly falling into the lava after getting the moon, which uses about 2 seconds, also because he did an upthrow before getting into the door. Placid Mink's strat for killing the Fyro was pretty cool, and the shrimp bounce by Pixel Panda was almost perfect in the last clip. And also Mackhan's Matt, who got the first clip, had a really good clip, and it's pretty good because it is the first task he ever did in the server, and the movement was decently presentable for the very first task. And this team didn't get any penalties either, which is pretty pog, because a lot of people just don't submit before the deadline. But here, everyone submitted before the deadline, which is pretty cool. And yeah, in general, this was a pretty decent run with a decent route. However, it gets stopped by one team, which is Team Mario. Team Mario had the first place with this task and won it with a pre-Poggy time of 29.88 seconds, which is once again over 60% slower than Team Luigi's run. What's interesting about this route is you can clearly see it's exactly the reverse of Team Bowser's route. Every objective is the same, and the order is just the reverse of the previous run, except for the moon, besides the Magma Pass Rare, which was actually collected at the end. And this is the main thing which saved a lot of time, because instead of having to because that cuts back the 5 seconds of getting from the moon to the sub area, because you already end the run while getting the moon, for just 1 second of falling from the plateau segment to get the moon. So it's an overall at least a 3 to 4 second time save. And Nico's segment was pretty pog as well, with the jump strat at the beginning, with the lava bubble, and a nice spin pound before getting into the door. And so there are 2 penalties here. The first one is that the DXCKY64 did not do his clip, and therefore gets a minus 15 penalty. Also, Nickel gets a minus 69,420 points penalty for not getting the obvious joke in the Team Task channel, Kappa.